What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ollie, back from the famous car that is. I hope everyone is having a phenomenal day. So look, the video today is entitled Stop Worrying and Start Living. Now, myself, I don't like saying this because it's quite negative, but for the last 5 or 6 years, I've suffered with borderline personality disorder, depression and anxiety. Now, anxiety is a horrible thing. It is the most horrible thing in the world. If I had any enemies, I would not wish it on my worst enemy because it makes you feel absolutely disgusting, basically. So I just wanted to do a video about it. Stop worrying, start living. Now, I've had some mad anxiety episodes where I'm worrying, I don't want to go to work, I don't want to get out of bed, I need more tablets and blah blah. And you start being paranoid and you start worrying and you start second guessing and questioning things. And anyone that's been through anxiety and severe worry knows what I mean. You can't breathe properly, you have panic attacks. And this, I'd say about, what we know, July, February, between the months of February and March, I had probably the worst anxiety period of my life. And it was horrible. Bearing in mind, before this, I stopped taking my medication for anxiety and whatever else. And yeah. But it got that bad that I had to ring the doctor and get some medication, and I'm cool now, I'm fine now. Not just because of the medication, because of obviously praying to God and doing whatever else, but I feel a lot better now. And when you have anxious thoughts and you worry, it really does take away your life. It ruins everything in your life because you're being off with people, and all you can do in your head throughout the day, all 24 hours, even when you're sleeping, is worry about things that don't actually happen, or you're worrying about what could happen. And what I come to terms with and what I went through last year sort of taught me how to handle my anxiety and taught me that certain things in life you don't have control over and you can't help it. So there's no point in wasting time being anxious and worrying. Now, I know it's easier said than done, but you can do it. I'm living proof that it works. Like, I was genuinely, this year, between the months of February and March, panicking, worrying, crying, having panic attacks, thinking for the worst, thinking what could happen, as opposed to it isn't gonna happen, you know. And it's horrible, it's not nice. But that being said, I believe you have to go through these things in life to make you a stronger person. Someone cannot be strong if they don't go through certain things. And I believe that I'm a stronger person because of what I've been through. Now, look, what do I mean by stop worrying and start living? Like I just said, worrying and anxiety takes your life away. It does. It takes away your relationships. It takes away your peace of mind, your mentality, maybe your job, maybe your day-to-day. It will take away everything from you because that's what it's designed to do. Now, the mind is such a beautiful thing, but sometimes it can trip you up, shoot you in the foot, and decide it's not going to work properly. And that's when anxiety and worry kicks into place. Someone once told me something, so I thought I would do a bit of research. And what the person told me was 90% of the things we worry about don't end up actually happening. Now, I've done a bit of research on this, and it's actually 80% of the things we worry about don't end up actually happening, and it's been scientifically proven, apparently. So yeah, so that gives me a bit of peace of mind in the fact that I was worrying about things, but they wouldn't actually happen because it's just my mind playing tricks on me, and it's true. And another thing that I was told as well, and it really sunk in, is the things you're worrying about, you're making the situation 100 times worse in your head than if it did happen, what it would actually be like. Honestly, because I've been there, done it, I've worried about something, it's ended up happening, and then it's not been as bad. So it's just like, okay, yeah, all right, fair enough, I'm not going to worry no more. And it's as simple as that. But this all boils down to what I talk about, the law of attraction. Whatever you think about, you bring about. Now, the law of attraction doesn't care whether it's a good or a bad thought. It will put into action and pull everything towards you that you're thinking about. But that being said, the good thing about it is that a positive thought is a million times stronger than a negative thought. So think positively. Now, there is a time delay on these things, so you can change your thought process and what you're thinking about. So this bad thought doesn't come true, and this positive thought does come true. You just got to replace a negative thought with a positive thought. Now look, there's people that aren't as strong as others, and they let the worry and the anxiety get to them, and the depression, and they end up taking their own life, or just ruining their whole life by just sitting in all the time and being scared. Don't get me wrong, like, for instance, the other day I'm sitting there and it sunk into me like, wow, I'm gonna die someday. And then it tumbles, it's like a domino effect. You start thinking about your family members and your children and what you're gonna do with your life, and it really does hit home. But my advice to anyone that has chronic anxiety or worry, or anyone that just has anxiety or worry, like, think about it. What you're worrying about, is it likely that it's going to happen? If it isn't, forget about it. If it is, what's the worst that can happen? Now really think about it. What's the worst that can happen? Because your mind is playing tricks on you. You are making it 100 times worse in your head, when the reality of it is, it's not going to be that bad. Honestly, you've probably been through it yourself, or you're worrying about something, and when you get there, it's not actually that bad. Now, I'm a firm believer in life that... I'm a firm believer of a lot of things, but I am a firm believer in life that whatever you go through in life, you will be able to handle it. You will never, like, whether you're Christian or Muslim or not, anyone that knows what I'm saying knows what I'm saying, where God will never put you through something that you cannot handle. So why, all these things that are going through your head, why are they going to happen? You know? Now, look, I just wanted to do this video today to say stop worrying and start living, because worrying and anxiety takes away your life. It's not easy to get over these anxiety thoughts and these worry thoughts and the control they have over in your life, but slowly, if you start letting go, like so, if you start letting go, they'll just disappear. Now, myself, when I have thoughts pop into my head, they just go like that, because I've replaced them with a positive thought. I replace them with, you know what, I'm not going to bow down to these thoughts. I'm not going to worry. I'm going to pick myself up and keep moving forward, because this life has got so much more for me apart from worrying and panicking. And it's as simple as that. Like, I am not going to sit here and lie to you and say that my life has been perfect, because it isn't. Because if my life was perfect, I wouldn't be sitting in front of this camera now giving you guys advice. What I am saying is I've been through these things, so I have the God-given right to talk about them and tell you that I am here to help and explain on how I have got over these things and I have overcome these things, because I am an overcomer. Everything I've been through up until now, I have overcome, because I'm strong and I have been given this gift to overcome quickly, I suppose. I'm an optimist. I see the good in every bad situation, and even though my circumstance a few months back was depressed, was anxious, was worrying, my mentality and my future wasn't. And that's why I'm sitting here now, not worrying, not panicking, not being depressed, not having anxiety and panic attacks. Like, anxiety and depression aren't nice things. They are horrible for anyone that experiences them. A lot of people experience them worse than others, but listen, they're not nice. But what you've got to do is you've got to really think to yourself, what am I worrying about? Why am I worrying about it? Would it actually be that bad? Is it likely to happen? And if the answer to that question is no, then stop. Like, it's easier said than done, but you've just got to try your hardest to occupy your mind with something else as opposed to worrying, because you're going to lose sleep. You're going to be depressed, you're going to be more worried, more anxious, you're going to cry, you're going to not want to speak to anyone, you probably end up losing relationships, you probably end up losing a job or whatever it is you're doing, because your mind is so occupied with worrying. And the reason I say stop worrying and start living is because when you stop worrying, you do start living. You start getting back to your normal self, your normal routine. You're able to do more, as opposed to being worried and not being able to do anything. Listen, I've been there, I've done that. I've lost jobs and left and had to leave jobs and lost friends and relationships and fallen out with people, because my anxiety is that bad. It's making me paranoid. I'm worrying about people, and it's like, okay, I can't be around those people no more, because it makes me worse. When the be all and end all of it is that if you stop worrying, you stop being anxious, you actually sort your anxiety out, then you'll be fine. Like myself, what's helped me get through this anxiety, this depression and whatnot is number one, God, number two, my son, number three, the medication that I'm on for the moment. I'm not reliant on it, but at the moment I'm on it so I can wean myself off of it so I can be back to normal again, because it is helping me, I'm not going to lie. But you need to get diagnosed properly. If you're finding yourself being worried all the time and anxious all the time, you've clearly got anxiety disorder, and you need to go to the doctors and get them to diagnose you properly, because you can't live your whole life not knowing what's wrong with you. You need to know what's right with you. And that's me being positive again. But look, I talk about this because it's something I'm going through, I've been through, and what I've been through, I'm not going through it anymore. And I've sorted it out, and I've cracked it of how to use life properly to help me with these sort of problems. Like when I was going through these anxiety attacks, I was that bad that I was searching all over the internet, and I found this one guy, like he had a website, and he talked for about 15 minutes on like this recording in this little slideshow, and explained like at the end of this video you're gonna get my recipe on how to get rid of anxiety and this, that and the other. And I'm getting excited through the video, and I'm like, I'm going to be able to get over my anxiety. And at the end of the video he's like, please go to this page to pay this amount of money to get my formula. And I thought, that's out of order. Like when I get the chance to help people, I'm not going to charge for it. And that's what I'm sitting in front of you doing now. So look, my formula for you is, if you have anxiety or worry, what you're worrying about, is it likely to happen? If it isn't, get rid of it. If it is likely to happen at some point, maybe even a 1% chance, think, what is the worst that could happen? And don't think what is the worst that can happen that you're worrying about now. Think of the actual worst that can happen. And then what you do, say to yourself, can I control this situation? If you can't control it, then just forget about it. If you can control it, then forget about it also. It's easier said than done, but it can be done. I am living proof. Listen, you've just got to grab it by the horns and think, do you know what, I'm not having this anymore, I'm not going through this anymore, I'm going to stop worrying and I'm going to start living. If you do worry a lot, chronically, all the time, and you're panicking and you're anxious, please do me a favour, go to the doctors and get checked out and get diagnosed, because you may or may not have anxiety disorder. It's not a nice thing, but they can give you medication to help you. They can give you something called CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy, which is like one-to-one counselling, and they sort of teach you how to work your mind properly, and there are things that can help. My number one thing for these problems would be to pray about it. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, just to sit down in a quiet spot. If you have to go to a church, if you have to go to a mosque, or you just want to sit in your car or your bedroom, just sit there, close your eyes and ask God for help, and he will help you. I promise you that now. Everything you go through in life, you can handle. I don't know if you've realised that. You've gone through a situation, you think this is the worst thing in the world, and then when you get through it, you think, do you know what, it wasn't even that bad, because I was able to overcome it. I was able to get through it. That is God. I don't care what anyone says. That is God showing you and holding you and being there for you when you're going through your toughest times. And it's as simple as that. So listen, stop worrying. Start living, because worrying takes away your joy, your happiness, your life. When you don't worry, you can live again, you can do things again, you can be happy, you can be you can be phenomenal. Anyway, as I say at the end of every video, my name's Ollie, this is Think Motivate. I love you, God loves you, you are amazing, you are phenomenal. Don't let no one ever tell you any different, and until the next video, good night and God bless.